Hello, YouTubers and all those who happen to watch. Hope you guys are all doing pretty well. I got two games I got here recently, and I want to give a little bit of a first impressions of both of these titles. So, okay, the first game I picked up here was inspiration from playing and getting this game of previous, which was Resistance 2. Now, I really enjoyed the storyline. I have not played part 1. I want to get it so that way I can, have all three. And I would say part 2 is a pretty darn good shooter. Now, I picked up this game because, well, I just wanted to continue on the storyline. Now, this one's based 4 years after the events of part 2. I'm not going to say too much about the storyline. I'm going to keep it very, very close-lipped. But Resistance 3 is so far pretty darn good. I've played through some of the multiplayer. I think I'm like level 6 or something like that. A lot of campers. That's typically what you get from most shooters. If you play really well, people will recoil and sort of sit in one spot and use the cheapest build they have with like turrets and all that, and they'll just sit there and camp the hell out of you because they don't have nothing else to do because they're screwed. And that's the only way they can keep their KD up, I suppose. But anyway, enough about me QQing about some silly crap online. It's a pretty darn good game storyline-wise. The depth and the atmosphere is definitely there. The environments are pretty decently constructed. There's a lot of interaction with the enemies in the environment, such as the Aguilar, who can shoot through walls and shoot at the enemies, which I kind of like that gun. I mean, when it comes to multiplayer, kind of cheap, but at the same time, it's really hilarious in single player watching these little Camaros go, just dying. And it's just silly slapstick fun for me anyway. I definitely think that the characters, some of them are kind of watered down, but that's expected for third-party style protagonists. You can't expect too much when it comes to monsters like that. However, if you like a game that feels like a movie, and you want that movie experience while you're playing a shooter, pretty darn good suggestion would be Resistance 3. Again, this game does not require you to use the PlayStation Move at all. It's compatible. You can use it with the game. So if you have the Move, you have the little attachment and all that, definitely recommend it, I guess. Again, I can't tell you that because I don't own the device yet. I want to play with the device because I got a game sitting on my shelf over there that does the PlayStation Move, and I heard it's super fun. And anyway. Dan Smash. It's 3D compatible, as you can see on the front cover there. I don't know if the 3D is good or not. I couldn't tell you that. Don't own 3D TV. Don't think I'm going to own a 3D TV in the future. But overall, pretty darn good game. Next game I got for a purchase was for the DS, and that game, of course, is called Monster Tale. Now, this is a kiddie's perspective of Castlevania. And it's pretty much like a Castlevania game meets Digimon or Pokemon or something of that nature. It's a good game. I'll have to definitely tell you that. The controls are pretty responsive. They're tight. They fit like a glove when it comes to familiarity, which means you could just pop the game in and automatically know what the hell you're doing. And it feels a little bit like Mega Man as well with the character, which are, I can't remember her name for the best of me. Ellie. There we go. I knew what the name was, it just escaped my brain just now. It was Ellie, and she's blued hair, pretty generic looking a little bit. I mean, she's adorable to a degree. You pretty much hatch this little character called Chomp, and is it Cromp or Chomp? Can't remember. But anyway, you and this creature that you hatch go about and, explore with Castlevania-style walls, environments, and all that. You gain abilities. And these abilities help you get to new areas, and it's again your typical run-of-the-mill Castlevania and Metroid style game. And it does not disappoint me at all. I mean, yes, it's for kids, but at the same time, I don't feel like I'm, being cheesed. Where, the enemies aren't cheap, they're just right when it comes to temperature, when it comes jumping right into the game. I recommend it definitely more for kids or folks who are really casual. I'm so far enjoying it. I think the idea of it's okay. I'm not huge on Digimon or Pokemon or anything of that nature. Practically what you do with your creature is leveling up with, picking up books and dumbbells and things along the way, such as cookies, and it's a sort of a silly slapstick kind of game. Again, it's just something that, you know, I'm not going to fall in love with. I think it's a good game though, but I got it on the cheap, so therefore I got it like that. So with that said, pardon me, if you want a game like Castlevania for the DS and you want to get it on the cheap, now this game's a little bit underneath the radar. I think it deserves a little bit more attention, especially for adults who have kids who like Castlevania games, but kind of want to pull them away from those games. They're too violent for them. Something like this would be definitely up their alley. And for those who own the PlayStation 3 and want exclusives, that will probably give them a Woody. Now, I'm not going to say this gives me a huge, erection, but this is definitely a good game, and that is Resistance 3. And, again, pretty good game, solid cinematic style presentation. Now, if you're not heavy into shooters, ignore what I just said. If you're more into Castlevania games, go after this one. So, with that said, hope you guys enjoyed my first impressions of these two video games. Give your opinions of these two games below. What do you think of them? Upon looking up any research, if you haven't played it yet, tell me what you saw, what you thought you saw, and what you think you like what you saw. And remember, as always, touch my nipples. Oh, man.